Pakistan is facing a severe economic crisis. Inflation is rampant. The Pakistani rupee is plummeting. Foreign exchange reserves are dwindling. The country is grappling with a mountain of debt. This crisis is a complex issue with multiple contributing factors. Years of economic mismanagement have played a role. Global economic headwinds, like rising oil prices, have exacerbated the situation. The COVID-19 pandemic also dealt a significant blow to Pakistan's economy. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, recently approved a $7 billion loan for Pakistan. This bailout package is designed to prevent a sovereign default. However, it comes with strict conditions. The IMF requires Pakistan to implement austerity measures and structural reforms. These measures are meant to stabilize the economy in the long term. The situation in Pakistan is dire. Millions are struggling to afford basic necessities. Businesses are facing closure due to soaring costs. The government is under immense pressure to address the crisis. The path to recovery will be long and arduous. It requires a multifaceted approach. This includes fiscal discipline, structural reforms, and targeted social safety nets. Pakistan's economic crisis is a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of the global economy. It also highlights the challenges faced by developing countries in an increasingly volatile world. The coming months and years will be crucial for Pakistan. The decisions made today will determine the country's economic future. Inflation is a silent thief. It stealthily erodes the value of your hard-earned money. In Pakistan, inflation is running rampant. Prices for essential goods and services are skyrocketing. This puts immense pressure on ordinary citizens, especially low-income households. Their purchasing power is diminishing day by day. Imagine this. You go to the market with 100 Pakistani rupees. A few months ago, you could buy a week's worth of groceries. Now, the same amount barely covers a few days' worth. This is the harsh reality of inflation. Your money buys less, stretching your budget thin. The impact of inflation is far-reaching. It affects every aspect of daily life. Families are forced to make difficult choices. They cut back on essential items like food, education, and healthcare. This can have long-term consequences, particularly for children's health and education. Inflation also erodes savings. The money you put aside for a rainy day loses its value over time. This creates a sense of insecurity and uncertainty about the future. The erosion of purchasing power is a major challenge for Pakistan. It requires urgent attention to mitigate its impact on the most vulnerable segments of society. The central bank plays a crucial role in managing a country's economy. One of its key tools is the interest rate. This rate determines the cost of borrowing money. When inflation is high, the central bank typically raises interest rates. This is a delicate balancing act. Raising interest rates can help curb inflation. It makes borrowing more expensive, which can slow down spending. This, in turn, can help to cool down the economy and bring inflation under control. However, there's a catch. Raising interest rates too high or too quickly can have unintended consequences. Higher interest rates can deter investment. Businesses may postpone expansion plans due to the increased cost of borrowing. This can stifle economic growth. Additionally, higher interest rates can make it more expensive for the government to service its debt. This can strain public finances. The central bank faces a dilemma. It needs to find the right balance between controlling inflation and supporting economic growth. It's a tightrope walk with high stakes. The decisions made by the central bank have a significant impact on the lives of ordinary citizens and the overall health of the economy. Section 4. The ripple effects of high inflation. A vicious cycle. High inflation is like a virus that infects the entire economy. It creates a ripple effect, impacting various sectors and aspects of daily life. One of the most significant consequences is the weakening of the currency. When inflation is high, the value of the currency typically declines. This makes imports more expensive, further fueling inflation. Think of it this way: Pakistan imports a significant amount of oil. When the Pakistani rupee weakens against the US dollar, which is the currency in which oil is traded, it costs more rupees to buy the same amount of oil. This increase in import costs is passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices for fuel and other goods and services. This creates a vicious cycle. High inflation leads to a weaker currency, which in turn leads to even higher inflation. This cycle can be difficult to break and requires a comprehensive approach that addresses the root causes of inflation, such as supply chain disruptions, government spending, and monetary policy. Moreover, high inflation can deter foreign investment. Investors are wary of putting their money into economies with high inflation rates. They fear that the value of their investments will erode over time. This can limit economic growth and job creation. Section 5. Social unrest and economic distress. A brewing storm. Economic hardship often breeds social unrest. When people struggle to put food on the table and provide for their families, frustration and anger can boil over. In Pakistan, the rising cost of living is pushing many to the brink. Protests and demonstrations have erupted across the country. People from all walks of life are feeling the pinch. Daily wage earners, salaried employees, and small business owners are all struggling to cope with the soaring prices. The government is facing mounting pressure to address the situation. However, finding effective solutions is proving to be a daunting task. The economic crisis has also highlighted the deep-rooted inequalities in Pakistani society. The burden of inflation falls disproportionately on the poor and vulnerable. They often lack access to social safety nets and support systems that can help them weather the storm.